Welcome to the YanBar Podcast, where we bring you the most exciting and diverse conversations in the world of interviews and talk.
Hi.
Hey, Jeanne, welcome back.
Oh, thank you, Bryan. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, for the people who don't recall, people who weren't here last time, would you tell us about why you were here last time?
Oh, we talked about the worst virus since the death of Osiris. That's a line in my song. We talked about fear and virus, did we not? I think.
Fear, most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because fear is the biggest virus of all, I think I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also hear that you have a new book coming out.
Yes, I do. And it's called Unveiling the Spirit Worlds. Yeah, I actually a shout out, well, a big love out to Steve Andrews, otherwise known as the Bard of Eden. You've had him on your show before.
Yes.
What an incredible human being Steve is.
Yes,
but you know, I had quite the experience spending 2 months in Portugal in my little housey, basically in Steve's backyard. So we gave each other crash courses on botany and vibrational and energetic medicine. But one of the things that I really would like to thank Steve for is pushing me to come out from underneath my rock and get these stories out that I have been writing since 2002, Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
2002. And so he introduced me to a publishing company. And while I was in Portugal, I sent a query letter to the publishing company, and they accepted it and wanted to see the full manuscript. So that is in progress. But the book itself, Unveiling the Spirit Worlds, is a collection of my true, I couldn't make them up if I tried, stories about how spirit comes through to us as humans in this dimension. And it's a whole language. And so if you don't know the language, you can't speak it. It's like learning Spanish or Portuguese. I've been taking Portuguese. So if you don't understand it, you can't speak it. So these stories lend themselves really well to the reader. Well, anyway, I think gleaning information about how to do that. You've read my manuscript, Bryan.
Yes, I have. Matter of fact, I wrote a review for it. And if you don't mind,
Yes.
I'd like to read the shortened version of it and stuff.
You can read the whole thing if you want.
Yeah. Let's see. I have it saved over here. And I did this in a very terrible fashion. One moment. Thought I was so prepared. Here you are. Going to where I have written, I don't have it memorized. Now, your book of short stories, to me, it read
Yes.
like a TV series. Now, even though the topics deal with sudden loss and heavy grief, the chapters are brief so that it never feels heavy or overwhelming. Now, Jeanne, you have a massive jump from tough job as a female correctional officer to unveiling spirit worlds. That's the part that like really hooked me. The transition from where you was correctional officer, then how you moved on to the spirit realm. But that was pretty interesting. And then it says the book is not preachy. That's another thing about your style. It's not a preachy book. It feels like a regular person just having a conversation. And that's the review that I wrote for your book.
Thank you so much. That will be on the back of the book. You'll be there with Debbie Dashinger. She's based out of Burbank, California, and so she has written an endorsement, as well as the illustrious Bard of Eden, Steve Andrews, has written one. So I'm really grateful for all of that. I'd like to share a story from the book, if that's okay.
Oh no, we love that. Matter of fact, we insist.
Okay. Well, this is a recent, well, there was an addition to this story, but this story is called Two Uncles, Two Messages, and it's in my book. But recently it was Father's Day, right? And it was also my cousin Catherine's birthday. And I really feel like she's been my sister in another lifetime. But about 10 years ago, Catherine lost her son to suicide. And so, we've gotten a lot closer since, and she really dove into learning more about the symbolism of, how spirit comes to us and everything. So we're on the phone. And I'm speaking with her about the story in my book about my Uncle Max, who's her father. Now, Uncle Max was like this big lumberjack. He had quite the life. He was one of 12 children. He was my father's brother. But anyway, when he crossed over, he was a favorite of mine. And I was sitting outside on my deck. And I was thinking about him, and I was asking him if he made it to the light, like if he was okay, if he was peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I had this big golden Buddha kind of statue up on the ledge of the deck. It wasn't in a precarious position or anything, but it was just like poltergeist. I'm thinking this in my mind, and the next thing you know, the thing just jumps off the ledge and falls onto the deck and smashes into a bunch of pieces.
Oh.
So I look at everything, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, at least the beautiful, peaceful face is sitting up. It didn't break in two. That would be another message to me. It's like he's telling me that he's peaceful. And that's how I read it, right? Yeah, I'm good. But I also noticed that the left ear was lobbed off. It was broken and it was just kind of laying there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what up with that ear? Wonder what's going on. So anyway, a couple days later, I called my cousin Kathy and I told her about it. And she said, oh my God. And I said, what? Well, Kathy is a retired nurse. And she said she and her mom and her nephew went to clear all the personal effects out of the room after Uncle Maxie passed over.
Mm-hmm.
And he was gone, but they hadn't done the bedclothes yet. So Kathy hears this beeping, right? Beep, 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 beep. And she's like, what the heck is that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a beeping sound. And she goes over, and doesn't she find his hearing aid in the bed sheets? So, so I said, see, Kathy, he's saying he doesn't need that friggin' thing anymore. He's totally at peace, right? But it got left behind. So we were talking about that this Father's Day, right? And we're going back and forth, and I actually brought a few messages in from her son, and then I hung up the phone. And all of a sudden I get Uncle Maxie in my ear. Thank her for the pie. The pie, the pie. This isn't in this book.
Right.
And I'm like, what? So I text her again and I said, Kathy, he's thanking you for the pie. He said it's like strawberry rhubarb, right? So she sends me a picture. Are you ready for this, Bryan?
Yeah.
A half-eaten strawberry rhubarb pie. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the moral of this story is you can blame all your cravings on sweet stuff on the dead people. But they do enjoy food, favorite food, when you eat it because they don't have a body, right? So
Right. Right.
they enjoy the sensation and the taste through you because they don't have a tongue.
Understood.
They just have spirit.
Now, they're able to do this? How do they link? How do they link up like, with your sensations? How is that done? Do you understand?
Well, there are 13 dimensions, that good old number 13.
Okay.
So just to explain it in layman's terms, okay,
Mm.
how does spirit know that you're walking along a path in the woods and they'd like to get a message to you, so they put a feather on your path, or they put something on your path? How do they know that? Okay, how? Um, the only way I can explain it is that they are walking with you, just like, not to get preachy here, but just like in the teachings of the Master Jesus, like the real ones,
Mhm.
the grains of sand, the footsteps in the sand.
Right.
When you call a spirit, they walk with you. I'm getting goosebumps all over. That's another telltale sign that spirit is with you, going rah rah rah. Yeah, share this information. So they are walking beside you, and they're in another dimension. And a lot of times on anniversary dates or birth dates, or like stuff like that, they will send you like messages. Like I got hammered with messages on my February 26th birthday in Portugal, and Steve is a witness to those.
Oh,
So that's how. Yeah.
incredible. Now, let's see. We're talking about natural disasters, right?
Mhm.
Now, I hear how do you offer protection for like from natural disasters? Because I know you've been checking out the news, and there's been
Yeah.
a whole bunch of tornadoes and floods and what have you going on. And I think
Hmm.
during the course of reading and stuff, I think that you have some ways perhaps that could protect people from natural disasters.
Well, I have the skills that I have learned and used. Um, I Nobody can. Okay, first of all, Bryan, nobody can make anybody else be safe. Okay, nobody. It just like nobody can heal a person unless they would like to heal. I can facilitate your healing, but if you ever meet somebody that says I can heal you 100%, well, I would run really fast the other way before they slit my throat. Oh,
All
did
right.
I say that? But anyway, um, about safe and energy. Okay, first of all, I have learned over the last, like, well, probably 40 years now, um, that everything is energy, right, Bryan?
Mm-hmm.
So if you believe that, then weather patterns, just like we have our own patterns,
Mm-hmm.
we have weather patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And the weather patterns are indicative of the subconscious minds, because we're all energetic beings here on Mother Gaia, of the collective within that area. Now let that land for a minute. Okay, so like, for example, where there's flooding, the people in that area have been holding on to old stuff and they need to clear it. It needs to get cleansed, washed away. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For example, I think it was October 29th, it was 4 years after 9/11, but there was a flood at ground zero, rain. Okay? There was a flood and it cleared all that energy out. Where there's a fire, it needs to be purged. Storms, it means that, people have storms within them.
Mm-hmm.
So, two instances where I was traveling. Okay, so wherever you are in the world, people, it doesn't matter where you are. If you ask for protection, because, spirit does not come to you if you don't ask. They're standing there going, look at that stubborn little sea hag. She's not asking anymore. Okay. Maybe she does want the roof blown off her house. Okay, good. We'll give her that. Okay. So you need to invoke your angels and guides. Okay. You need to invoke them. So January 2025, I flew to Ireland. Okay. I knew that I was going there to clear energy out, but it just so happened when I flew in, I brought the worst storm in Irish history.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious. Okay, so I'm staying in this cottage that was a heritage cottage right around the corner from the sea, right in the middle of nowhere, County Clare. And I was gifted this cottage to stay in for 5 weeks. The woman that owned the cottage, big love out to Siobhan O'Brien, she just released a new single, an amazing Irish folk singer in Ireland. She was taking a bus driving course in Limerick City. So I get there, she hands me the key, and she takes off to batten down the hatches before the storm. Okay? Well, that night, I'm telling you, I swear to God, I thought I was going to end up in Kansas. It was so bad. But I just put out that, I was okay. But where Spirit put me was in a place we lost power and data for 2 weeks. Okay? We had no power. It's the middle of winter. Do you know how cold those cottages can get in Irish winter with slate floors? Okay, but I had a fireplace. I had peat moss. I had coal. I had wood. And the Irish don't mess around when they provide for everybody during stuff like this. I had a great big thing of propane and a cook stove and my guitar. What else did I need? I wrote a few songs, and as soon as they cleared the debris off the road, I had my friend Jennifer Griffin was able to come and get me. But the thing is that storm really created a lot of havoc. But there was a story in the paper in Limerick City where this couple, and this is another teaching that I've learned, it's not your turn to go until like you're ready to leave. So this couple went to bed the night of the storm. Wife couldn't sleep because of the storm. Husband drops off. He's sawing logs. She gets irritated because he's snoring. She goes into the spare room. That night, a great big huge, it was right on the front page of the Limerick Now, great big huge tree fell through the roof of the house. It looked like the arm of Thor. I'm not kidding. It was this great big thing. And it stopped about this far from the guy's head where he was sleeping. And the wife, who would have been beside him, something fell down from the ceiling and fell right beside him on the bed. Didn't hit him, but would have killed her.
Where she would have been.
Where she would have been.
Wow.
Right? Okay. Then I go to Portugal this February, and now I arrive, and there's a huge storm. What is it about me?
Does it seem to follow you around?
Starting to get a complex. There's a huge storm in the south of Portugal. Like we're talking, there's some highways that are still being rebuilt. But where I was, and here's me, la-di-da, I'll just go visit my friend Steve. I don't know anything about Portugal. I'll just get on a plane and go. I was in a place that didn't get anything except for one night. Some of the roof tiles, the wind was so bad, some of the roof tiles were starting to blow off the neighbor's house. So I went out. This is what I did. I stood there in all 4 directions with my right hand okay? My right hand, because that's my directing hand. All four directions. And I prayed and I asked for protection for the property, for us. And I went all around, and then I lit some white buffalo sage, and we were fine. The wind died down. Now, I learned that from an old native guy, and that story is in my book as well, The Man with the Grizzly Claw Necklace. But you don't really mess with the weather. Like, if you're going to the store and you know it's raining, you don't say, oh, stop the rain until I get to the store.
Right.
No.
Yes.
Like, Mother Gaia doesn't really like that when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are feeling like you're in jeopardy, okay, whether you want to call it God or source or like whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
and you ask, why do you see, a twister going through a town and you see like one house is standing and the houses on either side, like they're gone?
Right.
Why? Well, I always like it when they interview those people because usually it's in their library and I can look at the books that they read.
Ah.
Because it's all an attitude. So I guess, and interestingly enough, here's another thing. I was traveling, right? So I have traveled a lot, but on the way back to Canada this time, I think it was, oh yeah, I flew in on Holy Thursday, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Right.
But I flew back to Canada on Holy Thursday. Okay, so the plane is absolutely jam-packed.
Mm-hmm.
It's jam-packed. There's not another seat on the plane. I'm almost 6 feet. I've got long legs. I asked, could I get some leg room? No. You don't have leg room. Okay, so 7 hours, scrunched up, perfect. So anyway, I got there and I was sitting beside a young man. I was a prison guard, so I noticed details. He looked like he was freshly married. And so we didn't talk much during the flight at all. Just I thought, okay, I'm going to binge on movies. But anyway, as we were getting closer to Canada, the turbulence on the plane was absolutely off the charts. I have never experienced so much turbulence. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what's going on in Canada. Because I'm flying back into a lot of turbulence, and I know that Canada's going through a lot of shifts right now. So the thing is, it's like I noted that, but it started to scare me. Plus, I was hungry, and the captain kept coming on the thing saying that they couldn't feed us. I could have probably sold my banana bread for $500 a piece,
Right.
but like they couldn't feed us. Everybody was thirsty. People were starting to get cranky. And so anyway, I started working with spirit because the plane was just, so I'm sitting there beside this young man and I've got my hands up like this. And I'm asking spirit if they could just level things out, please. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is not good. Well, I had to do it 3 times. I had to ask 3 times. There's the magic number. But every time I asked, it calmed down faster. And the last time it calmed down to where the stewardesses weren't pointing the emergency exit doors, which was making everybody nervous.
Yeah.
And they were able to feed us. So at the end of the flight, I'm sitting there and the young man stands up and he goes, enjoy the rest of your trip. And like whatever you were doing there with your hands, I just want to thank you. And I looked at him and I said, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I was asking.
Right.
Because it's not me,
Exactly.
right? I just, yeah, so it doesn't matter where you go in the world. Or like if you're in the middle of a thunderstorm, like I've asked for the power to stay on, and I've had power and the whole rest of the subdivision has been out. And anybody can do this, but you have to believe
Ah.
and you have to let go of your darn ego. It's not you, it's like
Mhm.
you're praying, actually. That's what you're
Mhm.
doing.
I see. Now, you mentioned Jesus and you mentioned God. Now, how does religion coincide or not coincide with what you do? Because from my understanding, it seems like religions like Christianity, whatever, it seems like they try to dissuade people from doing spirit things. Do you ever have any
hmm
troubles with people with religion as far as what you do?
Um, I used to, some people would, come up to me and say, you're doing the work of
Hmm.
the devil, but if you spell devil backwards, it spells lived. And the thing is that Jesus, God, source,
Hmm.
whatever you would like to call it, that is spirit. The dogma is what I do not agree with, because the thing is that no one needs to have power over another. When I meet with my clients, Bryan, the first thing I say is if you ever meet your guru, shoot them. Well, don't, because then we'd have to come and bust you out. Okay, but nobody has power over another. And so, for example, in the Bible, there's a line that says, I am that I am. Okay, that's correct.
Hmm.
Because whenever you say I am that, you are that. If you say I'm old, then you're going to look like an old pretzel before you're 50. If you
Mm.
say I am hurting, then you're reaffirming to your body that you are hurting.
Yes.
Okay? That's what the Master Jesus was teaching. I am that I am. But the other thing they wrote in the
Mhm.
Bible was, in the beginning was the Word. Now, I don't agree with that, because that's them trying to get power over another. Every word is a new beginning. And why am I supposed to trust a whole bunch of fat men drinking wine and eating stale bread for the rest of my life? And if I wanted to be naughty, I'd say God only knows what was going on underneath that Last Supper table.
Oh,
You know,
incredible.
in the beginning is the Word, is
Mhm.
the Word, one word shift. They've changed all sorts of words. And when I say they, I mean the World Management Team. What is the symbol in front of the Vatican? There's a big pine cone, is there not? Big golden pine cone right in front of the Vatican?
Hmm.
The pineal gland. Pineal.
Ah,
That's where your psychic center is.
mhm. That's
Don't eat or
interesting.
drink fluoride, people.
Ah, yeah, I heard that's supposed to do something to the pineal gland. What, it
It
calcifies it or
dumbs you
something?
down.
Oh,
No, it
wow.
dumbs down your psychic center. It dumbs it down. Read the
Incredible.
labels on everything.
Right. Now, another thing, let's see. The I have a little experience with the weather control thing where I used to do construction in the villages in Florida, Central Florida, and the guys used to want to get out of work early, so they would draw a rain turtle. Right? I don't know if you ever heard of it. They would draw a rain turtle and try to make it rain now. It never worked, as far as I know, but it was interesting that they would attempt things like that. You ever heard of anything like that, rain turtles?
Well, I mean, symbolism means
Mm.
everything. I mean, just look at the advertising on TV.
Ooh.
Just look at, like even colors and stuff like that. Like sometimes I amuse myself when I go into convenience stores and I look at stuff like Red Bull and I'll do the numbers on it. And then I'll realize they've got the perfect packaging. You don't think that the World Management Team doesn't know all about numerology, aka the round table. And in the Bible, there are numbers, are there not? Yeah?
Yes.
and they all mean something. They're codes for people who
Yeah.
can read them.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I read Bible a lot. And matter of fact, I
Hmm.
was checking out one, this is a video, and they were talking about magic in the Bible. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I noticed that there's a lot of things about spirit and they call them miracles.
Hmm.
Some people can even see that as a type of magic, I guess. I don't know. But it seems like the
Hmm.
Bible has a lot of things that relate to magic and spirits and words and spells, it seems.
Well, yes, because those are the true teachings of the Master Jesus. Like, take the word spelling, okay? Capitalize the word spell. Okay, what are you doing every time you write a word? You're spelling it, are you not?
Mm,
You're
hmm.
spelling it. Okay, so, magic. Okay, magi, the
Yes.
magi. Okay, the three magi,
Hmm.
right? So the
Hmm.
three magi, three is the connection to body, mind, and spirit, or the divine triangle.
Mm,
And three is infinite, is it not, Bryan? Three,
hmm.
three, 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 three. And so it is the divine triangle before it's manifested into the miracle.
Hmm.
So the magi, or the magicians, short
Hmm.
for, the
Hmm.
ones that knew the path but took a different one, okay, because
Hmm.
they were, you can't really explain magic. You know, you can't tell the children, you need to show them. Well, how did you do that? Well, this is how it's really not
Hmm.
magic per se. It's doing things in a way that is not a conditioned way.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is, okay, if you picture the number one, right? That is your seed, is it not? And that's your intention. Oh, Bryan's got an idea. I have an
Hmm.
idea. Okay, that's one. Okay, what is Bryan going to do with that idea? He has to make a choice, does
Hmm.
he not? Okay,
Hmm.
now you got two.
Hmm.
Okay, now two is the base number, but 11 is the master number of that number.
Hmm.
Okay, so that means in order to make a master choice, one has to master what really is in their subconscious mind
Hmm.
and why they're making the decision. So once you make a conscious choice, then what do you need to do next? You have to make a right action, do you not? Because you can't
Hmm.
just leave those hanging there.
Right.
Okay, so based on that choice, you make a right action. Now you have the triangle. As above, so below. As above, so below.
Hmm.
How the heck do you get it down into four, which is the material world? How do you get it there? Well, we've been taught we have to make it happen. We've got to hammer it. We got to keep doing it. We got to la 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 la.
Hmm.
No, because God or source energy is saying, oh, hey, you made the choice. You did the action. You know, if you just leave it to me, I can bring that rod right down to the material world. But you got to get out of my way, Buckle,
Hmm.
because your ego is way too big.
Hmm.
So you need to trust and have faith that these steps that you have taken and your vision that you've held strong in every little particle of your being is good enough for you to let go of the wheel and go down. And now you've got something that looks like a sailboat, if you can visualize it.
Hmm.
So
You can see that. Yeah.
guess what?
So,
We've got a last little thing here. So the sailboat. So here's another way that they condition us.
okay.
Okay, remember the nursery rhyme? Row, row, row your boat
Hmm.
gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Ryan, how come we have to row our boats down the stream? Huh? Couldn't we just float?
Right, go with the flow.
Okay, so they're saying the one part is life is but a dream. That's right. But they're saying we have to keep rowing to get it. That's how messed up we are as children.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, you're right about that. Why would you have to row when you're going anyway?
Gently down the stream,
Yeah,
right? You just float like Huckleberry Finn.
exactly. Let the current pull you along. Yeah,
Or
let
why
go,
do you have
let
to go
God.
all the way up? Yeah, but why do you have to go all the way up the hill to get the pail of water? Water flows downhill.
Oh wow. Jeannie. Oh wow. Jeannie.
And
Oh
we
wow.
maybe if we had to drank some of that dirty water at the bottom of the hill, we wouldn't get that virus.
Wow. You get that mind blown thing going on. That's a good one. And there's some other instances in the Bible of magic. When Moses, when he went to Egypt, I think they were doing magic with sticks and snakes and stuff, throwing
Exactly.
staffs. Yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah,
seems like
well,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
yeah. And snakes and Eve got a bad rap because you know what? If you cut an apple in half the right way, what do you get? You get a five-pointed star. Hello again, Brian.
Hey, now that was pretty cool. The nursery rhymes you're telling about. Jack and Jill going up the hill to get water. Why are you going up to get
Yeah,
water when it's anyway, that was brilliant.
I know. And a lot of us fell for it, right? Jack and Jill went up the hill to catch a pail of water.
Hmm.
Well, why did they have to work so hard for the water? And we were also talking about rowing downstream, like duh, right? Rowing
Exactly.
downstream. And the other thing is just, since I like things in threes, who put Jack in that box in the first place? Like, I want to know. The Jack in the box, da 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 da
Understood.
da da da
Yeah.
da da. Pop
Right.
goes the weasel. Pop goes the weasel. Okay, the weasel is vibrates to the number 33, and it means that something is hidden. So why did they put Jack in that cubed box? If you think of it as a square, you're going bang, 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 banging again your head against the wall. And if you take the master number of the box, the cube, which is the number 4, it's actually the number 22. And the number 22 is the alpha and the omega. It's the ancient numerical value for a circle. It ain't no box. It's a circle with 4 directions. So anyway, Buddy goes into the box, right? He's
Hmm.
banging his head because he's trying to, he thinks he's helpless. And now he's got a migraine. So he falls down to the ground and he looks up and he says, there's no lid on the box. All this time, there's no lid on the box because it's a circle. And Humpty Dumpty's sitting there. I swear to God, he was pushed by a woman, probably me. But that is how the conditioning starts at a very early age. And I'd like to segue into logos or words because we were talking about some things that are not totally correct in the Bible.
Hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
The teachings are, but how people write them down, it depends on whether they're power hungry or not. So we were talking about in the beginning was the word, and there's my comments. If you want to go right back to the beginning of this podcast, you'll see my naughty comments about that. But the words or logos are actually, okay, we've thought of an idea, and you've all heard that about the book, The Secret, but the logos are what energizes the vision, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So if you say something, Brian, how many times have you heard people say, I am going to get this. I'm going to get it.
I'm sure I say it all the time. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Hmm.
I'd irritate you because I'd say, ask Steve. I'd say, where are you going to get that, Bryan? Aren't you just getting it? You don't know how you're getting it. I am getting this. True story. Blondie. Meet Blondie. She's a world traveler.
Hi, Blondie.
Okay, she's gotten on every plane, aside from, anybody's bad juju. The clerks working, they never put her in the hole because it must have been my green eyes glaring at them. She got to go with me wherever I went. But anyway, I didn't have Blondie at one point. I just had a parlor guitar that I wrote the album Peace Be With You, the tribute album for Dolores O'Riordan on. But I really wanted a guitar with a plug-in. I couldn't afford it, Bryan. I didn't have the money for it. But I had a little chat with Spirit, and I said, okay, I know I do numbers, and I know I do this, and I know I do that. But, like, guys, what about the music?
Right.
Really would like a guitar. Come on. Within 5 minutes, a friend of mine called, true story, and she said, is there something wrong, Jeannie? I've been picking you up. And I said, yeah, actually there is. I need a guitar. Well, her husband owned a guitar store. And she says, well, I have a little parlor guitar sitting in my living room. It's not doing anything. She needs to be loved. I'll bring it over in 5 minutes. Okay, fine. I get that. I had the parlor guitar, but I wanted a pickup. So I did a vision board around that. I said, please, Spirit, bring me one. Bring me one. Well, she called me up and she said, oh, I was checking out the store today and straightening it up, and I found a rainbow guitar strap. It's yours. It has to be yours. So she gives me this strap, and I got all excited because I'm thinking, well, I don't have the guitar yet, but I have a strap for a plug-in. I have a strap. And so I hung that on my vision board for another month. And then the way to get my guitar, I got hired by somebody to go through their income tax papers that were all in garbage bags. And I saved the company $130,000. So I got enough money to buy Blondie here.
Blondie.
And that's, so it's all in the words. If you say, I can't do that, if you were around me, if you take the numerical vibration of can't, A is 1, that's a seed. C is 3, N is 5, so that's 8, and T is 2, so that's 10. Oh, that's another 1. Okay, so what's 10 and 1? It's the number 11, is it not? So in essence, when you say, Bryan, I can't do that, it actually means you need to take responsibility and say, I decided not to do that. And that's what I say to you. Oh, you mean you've decided not to do that? Own up to it. It's not that you can't. It's you don't want to. But it lends the air of defeatism to people. I mean, not everybody got stuck with a handled genie when they were a baby and had to live up to it or try to learn up to live up to it. Do you know, seriously, just off the track, my first 3 words, do you know what they were? Seriously?
Not my
all
mind.
gone. No, all gone. Poof. That's what I would say. All gone. Poof.
Did you hear that a lot or something?
No, but when I was a baby, I was the last baby born into the family, and I was like the grief soaker-upper, and I lost a brother to drowning, and my parents were like car wrecks after that. And so my mother had all this dark energy around her, and as a baby I could see it. and I was going like this, like I do when I work with people. It's like your aura is very big, right?
Hmm.
And I was taking that bad stuff away. And I was telling my mother as a baby, all gone, mommy, poof, gone. Isn't that interesting?
It is. Now, where does it go? The bad stuff.
It gets destroyed. It's just,
Ah.
when you, like, okay, if I'm doing energy work with someone, the first thing I ask them is, are you prepared? Are you going to do you take responsibility for your own healing? Because I have
Mm.
enough of my own stuff. I don't
Right.
need somebody else's. And then we say a prayer, and we call in the angels and the guides, and we call in, and then I say, may I touch you, and may I work with your angels and your guides. If they don't say yes to any of that, I don't even
Mhm.
touch them.
Right.
So it's just like when you clear your home. You don't have to use smudge. You could use a rattle. You could. I always call in Archangel Michael because he's the one with the sword. I invoke
Mhm.
him and I ask him to help me clear energy in and out of my home. As in, if somebody has been in my home, 9 times out of 10, they'll ask to go to the bathroom, and they not
Right.
only leave their energetic poo-poo, they leave the rest of the stuff there too,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so, no offense, but if you came to visit me, I would smoke you out of my house afterwards. Whatever energy that you had, because I need to, you know, take care of my house. Like when I travel,
Mhm.
first thing I do, open the window, and I have a little piece of Palo Santo, and I go around and I smoke the house. I take my rattle with me wherever I go
Mhm.
traveling. And I also have a great big kind of like sari scarf that I put over the smart TV.
Oh, really?
Because I don't, that little red dot I don't even have a TV. My whole life was a TV.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I was hoping you would speak a little bit more, talk a little bit more about how you made the transition from a correctional officer, right, to the spiritual work that you do. How'd you make that transition? Because they don't seem like they're connected.
No. Well, I didn't know I was going to make that transition on a conscious level, but
Hmm.
Bryan, I believe that when we reincarnate into this world, we pick our parents, we pick our experiences, we pick the people that we will meet in our lifetime and what we will do with that. So, that being said, I would not be on the path that I took if
Hmm.
it wasn't for a wonderful redheaded Irishman called Patrick Joseph. Okay?
Hmm.
Because um, when I was like, I don't know, 22, I always wanted to save the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought that I would take a job as a police officer. I would go for a job as a police officer. But there was a hiring freeze on, so they weren't hiring anybody.
Hmm.
But I'm an instant gratification type of person. I've learned to have a little patience lately, but I wanted to get a job like some in that field. So there was a correctional center not far from where I grew up,
Hmm.
and it was an all-male maximum security prison.
Whoa.
So I decided that I was going to just march right up there and ask for um, a an employment application.
Hmm.
Now, they didn't have any women working there
Mm.
right then, but as spirit would have it, as life would have it, I was meant to get that job in retrospect because they were just hiring their token woman
Uh-huh.
They just happen to be. So there's the timing or the divine right timing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I had gone the month before, they would have said no way. But they were hiring, they were just told they had to hire one woman at least. Okay. So I get the job. But then it was there that I met my future husband, Patrick Joseph, who was a correctional officer there. And on my 30th birthday, so 8 years later, he took his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't happy with that. In fact, I was royally pissed. And so you go through all sorts of stages of grief, of course. So after I finished screwing up the coat hangers, pretending they were his neck,
Mm.
um, I just, I was like, I need to know why. So I decided right then and there that I would study to be a medium, that I would study the spiritual world like nobody ever studied it, and I would find out why he left. Because suicide is different than death, is it not?
Mm.
You don't deal with the suicide or the death until you've dealt with the suicide, and a lot of people don't because they want to know why. And the reason for him was he was misdiagnosed. He had MS, which is a dis-ease of the central nervous system. We
Disease.
can we can do a lot of talk about that because I've studied, what's in the head that manifests in the body, why. And
Mm.
so they gave him a Band-Aid. They gave him pills for depression, but he wasn't depressed. He was just like, what is going on with me? Hmm? And one of the side effects was a dark thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, I was always psychic, but I shut it off as a kid because there was, especially my dad would look at me like I had a set of deer antlers on my head. Um, so I shut up. I shut down, and there's a lot of people that do that. So, um, I've been gathering the information for a long time and walking this path and having all these experiences, hence the book that's coming out. But it wasn't until 2018
Mm-hmm.
that I decided that I would come out from under my rock as an elder
Mm-hmm.
and not care what anybody thinks because it's my story. If they don't want to read it, they can leave it in the bathroom for somebody else.
Right.
But the thing is that I made a promise
Mm-hmm.
on January 15th, 2018 to my friend Dolores Reardon that if she went to the light, if she found the light, I would come out and start telling people about how spirit connects.
Mm-hmm.
And she did go to the light, and it's a little like 2018. Okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
you know it's 8 years later,
Wow.
but I was turtling a bit because I was working on the book, but I was also like, wow, me coming out and starting to do podcasts on this stuff and that. Like I actually like being a hermit.
And Jenny, before I forget, the title of your book, let people know so they can keep an eye out for the title of your book.
Unveiling the spirit worlds. And right now I'm in the process of figuring out which company, I have 3 companies that I'm looking at, is going to do it first for me. So once I figure out when it is happening, I will probably do a pre-order
Mm-hmm.
sale so that people can assist me to pop it out of the oven.
Understood. Yeah. Now, now I see as Blondie there.
Yes.
We plan on doing something with Blondie?
Well, yeah, I thought maybe I haven't done this before, but I thought maybe I'd share a song and a little story. It's it's a Dolores story. but it was on her birthday, September 6th. I think it was, I don't know. It was when COVID was out, 2021, or like when I got the album out, I couldn't travel because the sheep virus came out. And I have a song about that I'll sing you
Wow.
after this one.
Mhm.
But anyway, we did a concert for her here in Canada, and we videotaped the whole thing. And I did it with a friend of mine who's a sound healer called Michael Moon. Anyway, he plays crystal bowls and all of that, but he also has, like a rockin' set as well with his guitar. So he was to play the crystal bowls behind me doing some poetry and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So anyway, I was performing the poetry and I was at the front of the stage and he was on his little rug behind, doing the crystal bowls.
Mhm.
And I decided to recite this poem called Something Else that I had written for Dolores. And I was about 2 seconds into it and all of a sudden I felt her energy like right beside me. I know her energy and I felt it. And I kind of lost my footing for a little bit as far as like it stopped me from reading.
Mhm. Right.
But Michael just kept going and nobody knew that like I didn't make a big deal like, oh, Dolores is beside me.
Right.
Anyway, so that's fine. I finished that and he does his set. And there was this one song he was singing called Out of the Darkness, and all of a sudden he starts yodeling. It sounds just like Dolores. It's just like,
Wow.
wow, like what the heck,
Mhm.
right? Anyway, so at the end of the show, he motions to me, right? It's like,
Mhm.
let's go for a walk in the woods. Excuse me. So we go for a walk in the woods, and he said, hey, did you know that Dolores came to visit you while you were on stage? I said, how do you know that? And he said, well, there was a white butterfly going up and down your back the whole time you were reading.
Oh, wow.
And of course, butterflies are a symbol of the soul, and white is a symbol of spirit. Okay, so white butterflies, all butterflies, but white butterflies especially, are indicative of a soul that's crossed over. But
Mhm.
she was, because I was nervous, and she was going up and down and up and down and up and down my spine. Okay. And I said, okay, well, buddy, when did you realize that Dolores took over your voice box? Did you realize that happened when you were singing that? And he goes, oh, yeah. He said, she wanted to sing, so I just let her. So
Mhm.
anyway, we had the concert. Everybody goes to bed. I got a song for her, a new song. It's called You're Not Gone. And I start singing it around the fire. And as I'm singing it, all of a sudden I hear somebody harmonizing to it, but everybody's gone to bed and it's 55 acres of nothing. And I'm like, it sounds like Dolores. And I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, like that's not really her. Like I'm kind of waking out, right?
Mhm.
I'm all by myself. Next thing you know, Michael comes out from behind the trees and he said, oh, I was at the cabin and I could hear you singing. So she wanted to come and accompany
Mhm.
you. So I just decided to, hang back. I said, well, you scared the snot out of me because I thought it was her.
Oh,
But anyway,
wow.
here's a song called You're Not Gone. Oh, you're gone. Oh, you're gone. Though your body's free, you're not gone, you're not gone. I know you're there for me. I still feel you, I still hear you, I still feel you near. I still feel you, I still hear you. Help me rise from here. Oh, Though you're gone, though you're gone, though your body's free, you're not gone, you're not gone. I know you're there for me. I still feel you, I still hear you, I still feel you there. I still feel you, I still feel you, every rise from here. Though you're gone, though you're gone, though your body's free, you're not gone, you're not gone. I know you're there for me.
Wow. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
That'll
great.
be on, I don't know if that'll be on the next album, Badassery, but this one will be, and it's about words again. Did you know, Bryan, that Ovid means sheep in Latin?
Ovid?
Ovid.
No, I didn't.
O-V-I-D. Yeah. And corona means crown.
Okay.
So the coronavirus, Ovid. Yeah. So anyway, this song's about that.
Okay.
A little bit more about me. Well, I ain't no sheep, maybe a black one. I ain't no mat upon your floor. And if you think that you can play me, I'll be seeing you to the door. Truth only, please. Did you read my sign? Truth only, please. Then we're all alive. Truth only, please. Did you read my sign? Truth only, please. Then we're all alive. Well, I ain't the center of your universe, but I may be the spark that lights your fire. And when you meet me in the middle, I just might take you a little higher. Truth only, please. You just see my side. Truth only, please. Then we're all alive. Truth only, please. You just see my side. Truth only, please. Then we're all alive. Well, I ain't no ground for you to walk on, but I may be the peasant at your feet. And when you look deep in my eyes, there might be someone there to meet. Truth only, please. Did you see my sign? Truth only, please. Then we're all alive. Last verse. Well, I ain't no sheep, maybe a rainbow one. I might be the most colorful you will find. And if you choose to hang with me, I can tell you stories that will blow your mind.
Beautiful.
I ain't no sheep, baby.
Wow. That was great. Loving it. And Jeanne, we're running out of time. Before
I
we get
know.
out of here, is there anything that you want to say to people? Anything that we didn't cover, perhaps, that you like? What are some parting words?
Well, parting words is if you guys are watching this podcast, you need to give YanCan Podcasts a like and a share. And if you went to the Peace Train, I'm about, I don't know, 4 more subscribers from 2.2K followers. I could really appreciate some more subscribers on my Peace Train page. And also coming soon, within, I don't know, 3 weeks, I will have my shopping channel up on the peacetrain.ca available to buy hoodies and t-shirts and all of that. We'll get you a t-shirt, Bryan. I think you'll support it really well for maybe your podcast. It's gray on white, and it's a guy standing on stage. He's got a mushroom head, and he's talking to an audience, and they all have mushrooms heads. And he says, when everything turns to mush, be the room.
Yeah. That's pretty clever.
The Peace Train. I had a lot of fun during the lockdown, with my twisted sense of humor making protest memes. So all of them will be on sale for t-shirts and hoodies.
Excellent. All right, one more. Everybody, thank you for joining the YanBar Podcast. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Once again, here with Jeanne L. Thompson. And I'd like to remind you guys to check out our previous YanBar Podcast guests. And always remember that the YanBar Podcast is a place where you make it happen. Jeanne,
thank you so much, Bryan.
Yes. And you know what? Please come back. As a matter of fact, we touched on a lot of topics I think we can do some deep dives in, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to.
And another thing,
we can make this a series.
I wouldn't mind at all. I love having you. Another thing, when you had mentioned Canada, I know Canada's been in the news lately. You had mentioned Canada, lady police officer. You mentioned police officer, and I know they had an incident there. Did you know anything about what happened there?
Well, you know what? I don't plug into the news too much because I find that brings my my vibe down, and most of it is bull crap anyway. But I get stuff that isn't mainstream media, and also I pick up on stuff that's going on. But Canada. We're a bunch of rednecks, and if we're, and also I love what the Irish are doing right now. All we need to do, people, is stand up and be counted. And remember that no is a complete sentence. Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Complete.
Don't need anything after that. You know what? Jeanne, I appreciate you so much and stuff. Peace, everybody.
It's been wonderful. Peace to be with you.